Wednesday, March 6, 2024. And I probably should have trimmed my nails yesterday because they're actually kind of long and I kind of hate that. I want the short, trimmed nails, mainly just due to the fact that I know there's a couple of advantages that you could have with longer nails, but they don't outweigh the disadvantages that I get with longer nails, with number one being how much gunk gets Alright, I think that's enough recording for today. Hey guys, welcome back to Wednesday, March 6, 2024, where I'm hopefully going to be hitting the backside of my body as like I said. Anyway, we're talking about nails, right? When we're talking about nails, I will say if I have long nails, they get dirty very fast, and having to clean the underside of my nails is very annoying, and that's why I like to keep short nails. Especially in a cooking context. Especially when you're handling like raw meat, and then you have long nails, and you see how much Actually, I don't want to visualize that anymore. Long nails and cooking, not my thing. And it's not like I'm like priding myself. I'm like, oh, did you guys know I eat at least 2 home-cooked meals a day? It's like, I am not saying that as to some sort of be on like some pompous high horse. Or I'm saying like, are you cooking today? Did you go to the gym? Did you have your creatine? Did you eat your vitamins? Did you drink enough water? Did you eat enough food? And then to top it all off, did you make every single meal today? Was it made from scratch? Oh, you had a bread today? Did you grow your own flour? This guy really just cut me off like that. Also, my glasses are disgustingly filthy right now. I definitely need to clean them once I stop driving, not start driving. But today on the agenda, it is the back. And I definitely could have gone to the gym yesterday, but definitely speaking, I have never had my chest this sore for this long. Because when was my chest day? Was it on Sunday that I think I went to the gym? Because I didn't go Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, I didn't go Monday, Tuesday. So I had my chest, computers, and shoulders, as I was recently told, because this is not actually me right now. I get a comment from John.Plays, my good friend John, where he said he had quite the jump scare because I never specifically listed. And I, as in the previous actor, like this is the new actor right now that they called in. The previous actor was sent to jail, sent to Guantanamo Bay for their crimes. Andy-Roo Kim from March, what was that, 3rd Sunday. That Andy-Roo Kim has been sent off to Guantanamo Bay, and today is the new back day aficionado Andy-Roo Kim, who will hopefully write down everything that he'll be doing. So maybe I'll even write in the entire title today. I did lats, I did upper mid back, and I also did rear delts. Or maybe I become lazy and just write back for the entire thing as well, because why not? I'm not going to get sent to jail. I can do whatever I want. That'd be a pretty funny cut, like I say that and you see me immediately get sent off to jail because of it. But that is what is on the agenda for today. The days have definitely been getting longer, and it's kind of throwing me off in a gamer sense. And this could also be remedied somewhat easily, I guess. Not the most easy thing to remedy, at least just because of where my window is located. But in the daytime now, I used to be able to game because the way my desk is set up, it is right in front of a window. And when I was picking out what type of blinds I wanted, I could have gone in completely sun blocking, like, darkness, or what are they called? Blackout shades. But I thought that would be a little bit too depressing to not have any sort of like sunlight coming into my room, especially when I'm working at my desk. So I decided to go with there were 3 tiers. The one was complete sheer, like it just basically covers the window, but all the sunlight will be let in. And then there's the middle tier, which it lets in some sunlight, and then the 3rd tier, which is the complete, the blackout curtains, right? I went with the middle tier, and I will say, visually looking at my room, it does look a lot more, bright and vibrant, energetic, because I have sunlight coming into my room without having to, pull up the shades. Because if I pull up the shades, and I have the one issue that like the way that room is angled with the sunlight, there will be a couple hours in the day where the sun will be directly beaming right into my window, and it hurts my eyes when I sit down at the desk. And then I thought if I have it too much with too much blackout curtains, then the room will be too dark and, you know, kind of depressing. So, but there is one instance of that being a negative for me right now as a gamer, and as a gamer that sometimes play games in very dark environments. Having the sun in your eye and making a glare on your monitor while you're playing a dark, like, you know, literally dark, not as in like dark as in like the, you know, the subject, the topics that are being represented in the video game. No, like literally visually dark that I can't see unless I have a flashlight set in game. It's hard to see. I also should have recorded. Oh man, I should have done that. I tinkered with my computer, set up a little bit more, and this was mainly just a monitor setup thing where I wanted to readjust the monitors again, so that I wanted to have, if I look in the center, I would have a monitor right in the center. Because the previous way I set it up, because I'm not used to having monitor arms, was if I looked in the center, it was in between the two monitors that I have. Wasn't the biggest fan of that. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad if I were just only strictly using my computer as like a work computer, so that I can kind of like, you know, multitask that way. But since I'm still trying to use it as a multi-purpose gaming and work setup, I would rather not game on an off-center bias angle. And I just added in those words because they just popped into my mind. Am I allowed to go? Yeah, I'm allowed to go here. I slept really well today, but I'm still kind of yawny at the moment. I didn't actually finish my breakfast. Okay, let me scoop back a little bit and let me rephrase what the thing I was talking about earlier. But yeah, I did it and readjusted my monitors again, where I at least now have one monitor that's completely in the center. But the other monitor it looks good. Like if you were to look at my desk, I feel like majority of people say, hey, that looks like a pretty good setup. But in terms of viewing angle, I have to quite literally, like, I'll show you how much I have to turn my mind to make, but I make sure I'm in a safe part of the road. If I want to look at my left monitor, I would have to do this. And if I were to keep looking at my left monitor, I would have to keep doing this, which I feel like if I were to do that for like, you know, an extended amount of time, my neck's probably going to not feel the greatest after a while for doing that. Or maybe I'm just being a wuss. Who knows? Who knows? But another thing I wanted to note today is I actually didn't finish my breakfast today. My breakfast, the 40 grams of oats, 30 grams of chia seeds, filled with a mysterious amount of liquid, because I actually don't really measure how much liquid I put into it anymore. But then also a gram of salt, 2 scoops of whey protein isolate powder in the unflavored version. Let me make this turn real quick, and I'm free. Okay. With 126 grams of not anymore blueberries, I've been using the mixed berries now, which comes with blackberry, raspberries, and blueberries. I do wish that in that berry pack they also have some strawberries in it, because I've been really enjoying strawberries recently. It's always been like a comfort fruit for me because, I don't know, I love the smell of strawberries. And one thing that I'm kind of saddened about is apparently like they change strawberries. Like there's like a new strawberry strain where no matter how unripe or ripe they are, they will still smell like they are ripe. Which before, you know, I feel like a majority of kids would understand. Like you would, like actually for a lot of produce, you should smell your produce. Smell your food a lot more. I'm not saying get weird with and start sniffing every single, you know, food that you come into contact with. But I do feel like, you know, when they talk about your senses, smell is a really strong one. And how do I tell if food's gone bad or if food is still good? I simply smell it, because I know that's not going to be like 100% accurate test, because there might be times you smell food and it's completely fine, but then, you know, it still might be spoiled. But smell your food. If it smells weird or off to you, especially different from how it usually smells, because there are definitely foods that are stinky, right? Like there's this one type of fermented soybean paste in Korea that literally smells like BO. And I'm not saying that's to like joke around and say, ew, this weird foreign food smells stinky. Like I've had the food before, and the food is really good. But I'm not going to deny the fact that it smells stinky though. Like there are definitely foods that I enjoy, but they are stinky. Another thing that I still took a while to get used to is fish sauce. I don't know if that fish sauce is still something that I would use regularly, but I at least respect it for what it is now, because it does have a very unique flavor profile that you can't really get with anything else, where you have fish sauce and you go, that is definitely fish sauce. Why? It smells pretty bad. Like, I feel like a lot of people agree that, like, people that even enjoy fish sauce, I don't think they would necessarily say that they would enjoy smelling fish sauce, like, for the entirety of their lives. Because, like, there are some scents that I wouldn't mind smelling for the entirety of my life. Like, for example, strawberries, or, certain types of flowers, some fragrant scents like lavender. Actually, I feel like I could get tired of lavender pretty easily. Okay, please don't T-bone me, Mr. Carr. Thank you. But strawberries, man, oh man, do I love the scent of strawberries. This is actually making me want to go out and buy, like, a little container of strawberries. But another thing I'm a little bit conflicted about is that strawberries are pretty darn expensive now. I don't know if it's just because, like, they're out of season at the moment, or maybe strawberries are just different, but strawberries are quite expensive recently. I have pulled up into the old Move Fitness parking lot with the tried and true joke of me still paying for an LA membership and having going in a very long time. I should probably do that. Oh, see you in back first real quick.
Probably have some better. Yeah, somehow I don't have any.
I didn't record any of my my rear delt sets. I didn't record any of my rear delt sets, but trust me, I did them because just the mere act of opening my car door right now, I did not have proper form. It wasn't just a hold open the handle and then pull. I had to use my full body momentum to get that thing open right there. So I like to think today's a back day, which in a way kind of constitutes being a pull day, because if you think about it, a lot of back movements. Wait, are there any back movements that aren't a pulling motion? Because I'm thinking about all the back movements I did today, especially for my latissimus dorsissimus region, my trapezius erectors. I don't know what I'm talking about. The back has been hit. I always start off with prioritizing my lats first, and then I go into upper and mid back. So basically I do pull down / pull up movements first. After that I transition into rowing movements, and after that I transition to rear deltoid movements that are usually variations of either just doing this or doing this. So it's like sword / practice. So I'm gonna assume that if I ever get into the art of sword and swordsmanship, my rear delts are probably gonna start popping if I think about it. Because like, again, like you just think about the ideas right now. Actually, I feel like if I were to get into swordsmanship, my back would be pretty good, because a lot of swordsmanship, yeah, I know there's kind of like the pushing motion, but it's kind of like you're pulling too, because like you have your sword and you kind of give it on like arc, and there's like a couple movements like that one isolateral lat pull down that I do where I do it like this. Kind of feels like if I were to have like a sword and like yank it back, my back would be pretty darn developed. So maybe instead of going to the gym, it's gonna start saying Thursday, March 7th, broadsword practice. Not gonna lie, I can't really think of a lot of swords off the top of my head right now other than katana and broadsword. Claymore, there's also the claymore. On that note, I am extremely excited for the Elden Ring DLC, but it also kind of makes me sad, because I remember when I started playing Elden Ring, I was like, wow, this might be my favorite FromSoft game I've ever played. Which is funny I say that, considering the only experience that I have at that point was I played Dark Souls 1, and then there's like a 6-7 year gap of just nothing in between, and then all of a sudden Elden Ring. So I jumped from Dark Souls 1 to Elden Ring, which was, you know, a lot of games that came out during that in between time. Considering I didn't even play Dark Souls 1 right when it first came out. I played it as not even the Prepare to Die edition, like the special PC port that they made. I played the original PC port, which was, if I'm being honest, was pretty bad. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I played it at 30 FPS frame capped because the PC port didn't have that support at that time. So you had to download a mod, but I didn't know how to download mods, so I didn't do it. But then after I played Elden Ring, and after, especially during that time, where after I finally beat Millennia, after several months of attempting to beat her, because I thought about this the other day, where I do feel like it's a stubborn and very selfish and egotistical way of playing and doing things, but I really do enjoy sometimes making things harder for myself, just for the satisfaction that when I actually do eventually accomplish it, because I know I will, I have kind of like that really, that smirk that people get, that smug look where you're just like, hey, guess what, fellas? I did it. Because I remember for the longest time, on that specific Millennia fight, people kept telling me, oh, you should use this build. Hey, you should stop being an idiot. Hey, you should, use your summons. You should use your Mimic Tier, your Ghost, or whatever. What was that called? Mimic Tier? I think that's what it's called. You should use River of Blood, Blade of Blood. Wait, what was ROB again? Rivers of Blood? I think that's what it was. Whatever that weird katana bleed ability thing was. But no, I was stubborn, I was egotistical, and what did I do? I wanted to use either, there were 3 weapons I really wanted to use to defeat Millennia, which was either that giant hammer that's, I forgot what it's called. It's been a while since I touched Elden Ring. And the only reason I even bring it up right now is because, the DLC got announced a couple weeks ago, and I am obviously quite excited about it. But it's that one hammer that looks like it's like a huge hunk of concrete. Concrete, baby. And that other weapon that I wanted to use was the Zweihander. I love the Zweihander, man. I'm probably pronouncing that incredibly wrong, but because it just means two-hander, right? Because in German there's ein, zwei. I forgot the rest of the numbers, but I know there's ein, zwei. And the Zweihander, there's probably German people out there, or people that just really enjoy the language of... Wait, I forgot. They speak German, but I'm guessing they have like another word to say what their language is, because obviously German people don't call themselves German, like in German, if that makes sense. So I wonder what German, like the language is in German. As weird as that sounds, because it's the same thing. Like I speak Korean, but that doesn't mean Korean, the language is Korean in the Korean language. Okay, I made it sound a lot more confusing than I needed to, but for example, if I were to say, oh, I speak Korean, I say, Hangul is like the Korean alphabet. Like if they say like, oh, can you read Hangul, means like I can read Korean. But if I were to say it in like a very colloquial way, if you say Hangulmar, which literally means Korean language, Korean word, is what that means. It's like you can ask me, oh, Hangulmar haseyo, which means like, do you speak Korean? Do you speak the Korean, sir? I don't know why I said that in a mildly offensive accent, but I get a pass because that mildly offensive accent is actually my own accent. Mamma mia. I don't know why I decided to say that. How did I get from going to the gym? I like how I went from I hit back today, and then I thought a lot of rear delt exercises looked like sword movements, which ended up leading into the FromSoft Souls games, which ended up being into Elden Ring, and then I ended up talking about the Millennia fight, where I wanted to either use the giant great hammer, the concrete one, the giant one, like the comically large hammer, like that should narrow it down a lot, and the Zweihander, or the Guts great sword. I forgot what it's actually called, but it's literally the sword that Guts has, that they have in every single FromSoft game. Well, probably not every FromSoft game, every Dark Souls games at least, has a giant, the hunk of iron sword. And then, especially that was cool this time, is I really wanted to be able to use those, I forgot, the L2, where there's like a spinning one, where like you jump up with the sword, do like a Sonic the Hedgehog roll, and then slam down. And there's another one that's like a giant upward thrust that I really like too. Man, I really want to play Elden Ring again now, but maybe I'll wait until the DLC. But then I was thinking too, because I remember during that time, I remember a lot of people actually complained about Elden Ring, and not a lot, right? It's always like the thing, like, if you hear a lot of complaints, it's because the people that aren't complaining aren't saying anything. And the people that are complaining are saying something. So obviously I'm going to see the complaints more than the non-complaints, right? But I remember a lot of people saying that they actually enjoyed Dark Souls 3 a lot more, so I decided to actually buy Dark Souls 3 after finishing Elden Ring. And I'm going to be honest, both have their charms, both have their things that are very nice, but for now, for the time being, Elden Ring was amazing. But I do also feel like Elden Ring, how should I put it? Dark Souls 3 just has a certain charm that made it a lot more memorable for me, especially the discovery of the world and such like that. There's a big truck that is turning, so I'm going to give him plenty of room just in case so I don't get clipped underneath and become a pancake, which is actually quite a visceral image, and I'm actually kind of regretful that I said that, because that's the last thing I ever want to be described as when I'm inside of a car, is to become a pancake. I do not wish to become a pancake. I'm a little bit of a rush right now. I was actually supposed to run an errand right after the gym, but I didn't realize how long I spent at the gym. And then my parents actually wanted to venture out to this Korean restaurant called Peck's Noodle, which sounds really funny that's like the English pronunciation if I were to read their sign phonetically. But the Korean is this Korean guy named Baek Jong-won. Likes making restaurants. He's like a Korean celebrity chef. If I even were to like describe, he could be like, actually, I guess Guy Fieri isn't really like a celebrity chef. He's like more like a celebrity food guy. I guess he is a chef though. I keep forgetting Guy Fieri actually is a chef. That always kind of throws me off, because I always just know him, as like the funny guy with the frosted tips, and he goes, "Welcome to Diners, Drive-In, and Dives." But they wanted to go to that restaurant, and it opens at a certain time, and we want to beat traffic, and I think they also want to just be early in that area so we can kind of just, I think there's a mall in that area too, so maybe they want to go to that. So I'm rushing on my way back home, and a lot of thoughts in my head. Only thing I wanted to say, Elden Ring, amazing game. Dark Souls 3, amazing game. But for the time being, Dark Souls 3 holds a more special place in my heart at the moment, just because I feel like I had a lot more fun and a lot more immersion in Dark Souls 3. But the more I think about it, that kind of makes it sound like I didn't like Elden Ring. No, I spent so much time on Elden Ring, but like, they're both beautiful games, and I think everybody should try them out. And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking I need to take a break from Escape from Tarkov, because I think it's that part of the wipe where it's mainly people that are really good at the game still playing, which means me, as a somewhat casual and not so good player, I am getting absolutely Michael Jordan'd on. I am getting Kobe Bryanted on. I'm getting Leonardo Messi'd on. I'm getting dunked and skill gapped. And it seems like when I do get a victory in that game, it's against people that are usually lower tier or lower level than me, which kind of makes sense, right? Like, I'm getting dunked on by players at a higher level than me. So I guess I'm kind of feeding into the actual ecosystem of the leveling in the game. But I want a David versus Goliath moment where I can swing upwards a little bit, right? And I think that's the beautiful thing about the Souls game, is that you're constantly swinging upwards. Like, there might be times there is an easier boss where you have an easier time, but there are going to be plenty of times as well where those bosses just beat you down for 2, 3, 4 hours straight, maybe even months straight. Because I'm not afraid to admit that it took me several months to defeat Millennia. That being said, it wasn't several months where I was playing like hours per day trying to beat her. I think I would attempt Millennia maybe like 2 to 3 hours a week. And it took me months, because sometimes I would just take an entire month-long break from attempting Millennia too. But that was definitely one of my highlights where I finally beat Millennia. I was very, very satisfied with myself. That being said, there is a part of me where I'm like, what if I can make it even a little bit more harder on myself? Like, because one thing I really wanted to do, which probably at my current gaming level is not possible, I really wanted to be able to be the people that can fully dodge and take 0 damage from her waterfowl dance. I was not able to do that. The only way I was able to do that is equipping a great shield, or just any big giant shield. I got it pretty consistent where I could start dodging her the second part of the waterfowl dance, but the first part, when she immediately starts going up, if I were to ever get stuck in a path where I couldn't just simply run away from it, I've seen videos of people like pixel perfect dodging it on the first flurry where she dashes at you. I was never able to actually do that consistently. So all I could do is either run away for the first part, or B, equip a shield that can block the entirety of that damage, and that is exactly what I did. But I really want to be able to learn how to dodge the waterfowl dance fully. And I know some people, there's been some conflicting opinions where some people said it's actually just kind of based off luck, and sometimes you can't actually do it 100% consistently, but it's fun striving after those goals now, right? It's fun giving yourself these fun little objectives, especially if it's a video game. If it's, you know, if this was something like career oriented where it depends on my well-being of like, you know, making money, I'm not going to take a risk and make myself harder just so I can potentially, in a way, make the same amount of money. No, but if it's in a video game where, you know, I am literally playing it to have fun, I do want to give myself little challenges here and there where I can kind of have like that self-satisfaction saying, I did that. I might have watched a YouTube tutorial about a guy telling me how to do it, but I personally did that. It's like the same thing as Tarkov. Like, I personally do enjoy playing the game harder, if that makes sense. But that being said, that mainly just means, like, could I ask for help on quests and some objectives and make it easier on myself and kind of get spoon-fed information? Yes, of course I can. But I definitely found myself enjoying the game a lot more where I suffer first, like on my own, and then I figure it out on my own. That one time that, like, you know, and Tarkov really is such a beautiful thing. I think it has like that same kind of like response that the Souls games had for me, where like I suffer for hours doing one certain task, whether that be on the FromSoft games, doing literally a singular boss, or in Tarkov could be a singular or multiple quests that I'm trying to do. And you can see where I have good attempts and then bad attempts, and you can also start seeing like the hubris in me growing, the impatience growing in me. And then one day it just clicks, and then it just works out, and when you finish, you're like, ha, I did it. I proved the haters wrong, even though the hater was literally myself. And that's another thing too. It's like, I don't have anything to prove other than to myself, and I still think that's a really, you know, I like that. I don't like having to prove to other people that I did something. I like being that the only person I have to prove in the long run is simply more self. More self, gosh darn it. I don't know how I combined two terrible accents into one even worse accent, but it has been done. So I know I mentioned it briefly before I cut myself off like 7 times talking about several other things on my initial drive to the gym. I didn't finish my breakfast today. What was it? I was eating, and then something came up, so I didn't finish all of it. I have about like a quarter left of my my protein chia seeds and overnight oats concoction with 126 grams of mixed berries. But I'm going to finish that up. I'm also thinking I'm going to give myself a little chocolate protein shake, the little Fairlife bottles, because my cousins really like them, so I've been buying them from Costco. They are pricey, but I will say they are quite delicious, though. I will say that. They are quite delicious. Finish that off for, I guess technically not my second meal, because right now I got to go in, I got to poop. My voice cracked when I said that. Got to poop. And then I gotta shower, and then I gotta head out immediately because it's family day and I gotta eat some foosh, gosh darn it, with them. So, on that note, have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming along and listening to my incessant ramblings, where I don't think I actually finished a singular thought today. I think everything was actually unfinished, which is amazing to think about that I have that sort of power. But, wherever you are, whoever you are, have a beautiful day, and I'm happy my PC's done being built and I can enjoy it to its full extent now. Peace.